It's 7:30 a.m. on a Monday, and you've got big plans. You intend to hit the gym first, and then after, you're finally going to write those business proposals. It's a big day. But just before you get out of bed, you get a notification from Instagram. Before you know it, you're staring at some hot pictures and another hot picture until you're overcome by that familiar sensation down there. And then it hits you. Half of the day is gone, and you're still on your bed, and the only thing that you've done for the day is make a fool out of yourself. The worst part is that the same thing is going to happen tomorrow and the next day. It's a terrible cycle, and I know it because I've been there. And the fact is, you cannot continue like that if you want to look back at your life with any semblance of pride. You need to free your brain from all the thirst traps online and offline. But how? I'm really glad you asked, because in this video I'm going to show you how to fully desexualize your brain. This is a no BS guide, so let's get right into it. Quit and block porn. It's obvious, but then again, it's obviously very hard to do. To desexualize your brain, you need to quit and block the thing that sexualized it in the first place: porn. As someone who's worked remotely as a freelancer, I understand. Having to be indoors and online a lot can lead to some bad habits and some compulsive behaviors. The worst part is, you won't even know how bad the damage is until you go out. But then again, social anxiety and shame might not even let you do that. Anyways, the first thing that you need to do to fight the chronic sexualization of everything today is to decide to stop watching porn, both soft and hardcore. You must understand that the constant nude pictures, adverts, seductive songs, books, and everything of the sort were made to weaken you. So understand that deciding to quit porn is equal to refusing to be weak and useless. Once that's done, immediately you have to make it as hard as possible, no pun intended, for you to find nudity or porn. You can start by placing porn blockers and controls on your computer, smartphone, and other gadgets. Doing this will help facilitate your recovery by reducing your exposure. Now, it's important not to rely totally on these blockers because the saying goes, when there's a will, there's a way. So don't think just because you've placed porn blockers on your device, it's all over. You gotta understand this because there's always a tendency to underestimate how sexualized your brain can be and how online spaces are now. Take this like a battle because believe me, it is. And unfortunately, unlike most battles, it isn't just over one day. It is a war that wages on, and you need to learn to be okay with that. Identify the triggers. So now that you made it difficult for you to go back to explicit images and videos, it is time to burn the bridges. We've all got things around that make us want to do stuff that we're not trying to do. Those things are called triggers. This can be anything. A picture of a particularly hot celebrity, a particular song, stress, boredom, or even a book. One of the main triggers for me was boredom, and it took me a while to understand that. For some people, it was certain movies, websites, or even certain girls in the neighborhood. Once that trigger's in place, it can set you off, and before you know it, you're back to feeling worthless. Now, if that happens, do yourself a favor and note down the trigger. It's okay to relapse, but it's not okay to go back to your old ways. As the saying goes, fall 6 times, get up 7 times. When you're trying to kill an addiction, it's common to relapse a few times before you finally get it right. Sure, it can make you feel bummed out, but think about it this way. Every time you figure out what makes you slip or what encouraged you to let yourself slip, that's a better way to look at it, you get one step closer to beating it. So, what happens when you figure out the triggers? You counter them. For example, once I understood that boredom was a trigger for me, whenever I got bored, I go for a walk or go to any public gathering, anything. If boredom triggers you and you decide to keep yourself busy while staying indoors alone, it's not going to work. Like you trying to play GTA 6 to counter your boredom, that's a terrible idea. For one thing, it doesn't exist yet. Another thing, those games themselves are so sexualized that the whole exercise becomes just pointless. So whatever the trigger is, find a way to counter it. If it's a song, don't listen to it. If it's a person, avoid that person. If it's a book, don't read it. And if it's stress, well, hey, that leads to number 3. Mindfulness and meditation. Mindfulness and meditation techniques provide a way to become more conscious of one's thoughts, particularly without forming judgments about them. Mindfulness, which involves paying close attention to current situations and sensations and emotions, teaches us to notice our thoughts as they emerge and practice in letting them go. If you're feeling stress, for example, meditation teaches us how to release that. Speaking from a neurological perspective, sexual thoughts can have a compelling effect on the brain's reward system, particularly the release of dopamine. When the brain becomes conditioned to seek pleasure, it may start to prioritize easy sources of gratification over more demanding, productive activities. Simply put, a sexualized brain becomes lazy. And it derives pleasure from doing easy things and avoids doing hard things that require sustained attention, no pun intended. Now, to break this nature involves training the brain to appreciate the reward effort and productivity instead of instant gratification. Instant gratification is such a nuisance in our generation. It truly is. We're a bunch of weak, spineless cowards. But you can be different. And one way to do this is through mindfulness and meditation. This practice encourages men to concentrate on their current experiences, whatever that may be, with an open, non-judgmental mindset. The idea is to observe and recognize emotions and thoughts without acting on them. There are various techniques for doing this, and they include guided breathing exercises, visualization, and muscle relaxation. Doing these exercises regularly can help to detoxify the mind from constant sexualization, rediscover your purpose. Now, this should have been the number one step, but I've learned that action is the best way to make a plan. You see, a lot of men have devised plans based on their purpose in life, but after relapsing once or twice, they just fall deeper into the pit. Nonetheless, finding a sense of purpose can play a major role in overcoming these bad sexual tendencies. You see, research suggests that addiction can sometimes stem from an absence of meaning or direction. People tend to thrive when they're motivated by a clear, meaningful aim. If that could be a career goal, a personal improvement plan, or the well-being of a family member or a friend, a defined purpose can help steer someone away from negative patterns and towards achievement and personal success. So yeah, look inward. You need to rediscover your life's purpose. Stop the video and ask yourself this: why are you here? What makes life meaningful to you? You gotta remember, that thing is used to drive you and push you to step up. Take a day, or even an entire week, to search deep within yourself. Get therapy. It is so much healthier in the long run. These are professionals who understand human psyche. Sometimes it doesn't work. Sometimes people aren't that receptive to it. But the point is, look across different facets of your life, be it academic pursuits, career objectives, family life, social circles, leisure activities, or health. Whatever it is, you need to rediscover that thing that gives you pure energy. And once you find it, you should write extensively about it. This vision becomes the bedrock of your journey towards improvement, and you'd better make it something that you would die for. Why? Because it can only work when it's something that grips you in the same way that need to release grips you when you've watched porn. Now, in addition to this, employing positive affirmations can also help. Repeatedly declaring positive statements can counteract negative thought patterns, creating new, healthier pathways in the brain. This can lead to a shift in self-perception and a new approach to personal experiences. Workout. As you know, regular exercise has a beneficial impact on mental health. Physical activity helps to manage stress levels and can provide a healthy diversion from stressful thoughts or urges. Cardio exercises, planks, burpees, push-ups, all of these can help you forget about your sexual tendencies. Now, some of you may feel hesitant to start exercising, perhaps because it seems challenging or requires too much effort. Well, it's normal for everyone to begin at a comfortable pace and gradually increase the intensity of their workouts as their strength improves. I am doing that right now. Exercise is not all about quick results, but long-term consistency and progress. That's where the magic happens. It doesn't happen in temporary spurts of motivation that peter out. It comes from making it a habit and making it important to yourself. We don't do things for others as well as we do things because we want to. Keep that in mind. As we said earlier, the problem with a sexualized brain is that it becomes lazy. Dopamine and other feel-good chemicals get released after doing something that makes you hate yourself. Therefore, you don't have an incentive to do the hard work that makes you respect yourself. When a person exercises, their body releases chemicals known as endorphins. These endorphins are produced as a natural reaction to physical exertion and stress, promoting a sense of well-being. These endorphins are often referred to as the body's natural feel-good hormones because of the euphoric and pain-relieving effects that they can induce. If you see these endorphins, they will reset your brain so it regains the ability to incentivize hard work. Your reward pathways are damaged and you need to work to fix them. So when you finish a workout session, you'll experience a heightened state of calmness and relaxation. This pleasant and post-exercise reward feeling contributes to what motivates a lot of people, including athletes, to return to their fitness routines repeatedly. Let me tell you from personal experience, do not go to the gym so that you look better. Go to the gym because it makes you feel better. If you do the first one, you're gonna stop eventually. Just is going to happen. You see, this sensation comes from putting effort into a workout, and overcoming physical challenges is just one of the benefits. Another is the fact that exercise can help regulate your mood and relieve stress. Now that we're halfway through the video, why don't you hit that subscribe button to support the channel? Do the same for the like button if you're enjoying the video. All done? Let's continue. Meet new people. Having a support group where you can express your thoughts and emotions is something that you gotta do. A strong support network can lend emotional support and lessen feelings of loneliness. And trust me, when you have a highly sexualized brain, you don't want to be alone. And to all those people out there that say, I'm a lone wolf, I don't need a support network, there is no such thing as a lone wolf of a human. We are a social species. Even people who don't have a lot of friends have to have friends. So, to avoid stress and loneliness, having a robust system of support is vital. Now, this can be talking to family or friends who are understanding, joining an actual support group, or seeking professional guidance. Engaging with support from others, perhaps in a group specifically for people overcoming similar challenges, can give a sense of belonging and access to shared experiences and advice that can aid in recovery. In addition to this, you can really help yourself out by having an accountability partner, an accountability buddy. An accountability partner is someone that you can trust and openly communicate your progress and challenges with. This could be a close friend or a family member who encourages you and helps you to stay focused. It could also be your therapist. I know a lot of people go to therapists for this, and it's really good for you. Some apps can also serve as accountability partners, such as Accountable to You, Boss as a Service, and so on. These tools can link you up with another app user who has the same goals as you. They can also track progress and remind you of the reasons behind your actions. Keep a journal. Now, do you know one problem that these online tools have? They're online, which means that you have to use a smartphone that's connected to an over-sexualized internet. So while you get a notification from your accountability partner, you can also get a notification from Instagram. So, should you just stop going online and return to the Stone Age? No, your parents are there and that might be uncomfortable. Of course not. But you need to cut down on phone usage, and that's why you have to keep a journal. Maintaining a journal is a therapeutic activity that provides an opportunity for personal reflection. Writing in journals encourages you to articulate and scrutinize your thoughts and emotions. This will help you understand the root causes of your sexual thoughts. It can also be a mechanism to devise strategies aimed at reducing the intensity or the frequency of these thoughts. Journaling can also help you exercise self-compassion, which in turn helps you build a more affirmative self-view. That is necessary because you need to mitigate the feelings of guilt or shame that may arise during the process of desexualizing your brain. You see, recognizing that setbacks or relapses may happen is a crucial aspect of the recovery journey. Stumbling is part of the path to improvement, but you have to stay committed to it no matter what. Through journaling, you can document not just your plans for the day, but you can also reflect in the evening on how those plans unfolded. Did you meet your goals? I do that every week, and honestly, it sucks, but it is better in the long run. So in this written record, mistakes are noted as learning experiences, and the insights gained from various sources, movies, books, or conversations are captured. Set boundaries. Setting personal boundaries is necessary because you need to be able to manage intrusive thoughts. By determining what kinds of thoughts are healthy and productive and which ones are not, you can create a mental framework that facilitates better thought control. When undesirable thoughts arise, and they will, a deliberate effort to shift your attention to more constructive topics is needed. As I've said earlier, there is no getting away from sexual content in the world today. But it is up to men to stand up and refuse to fall for thirst traps. You've probably heard the saying that sex is free because you're the product. That's true to an extent, because when men remain weak, then evil people prevail. And when evil prevails, you get constant lies everywhere. That's why, although we know that what we're shown in porn videos is unrealistic, we still watch porn. It's the same lie that messes up the perception of sex and relationships through pornography, and before you know it, casual sex seems like the best thing since sliced bread. Now, when you start to fix this issue by desexualizing your brain, you have to avoid women who are still caught up in that trap. A relationship is more than casual sex or getting her whatever she wants. A genuine relationship typically involves sharing life experiences, offering support, and growing together. It's much more profound than merely a means to satisfy sexual ends. Now, you should also set boundaries when it comes to your friends. If, for instance, friends decide to watch a film with explicit content at your place, you might need to politely decline watching or request a change in the film. If conversations veer towards objectifying others or making comparisons based on appearance, stand firm. Remove yourself from such discussions. Consistently upholding your boundaries, regardless of pressure or expectations from others, is key to maintaining the integrity of your recovery process and ensuring that your mental space remains focused and free from triggers that could hinder your progress. Positive distractions. Positive distractions are very necessary so that you can avoid pornography addiction at certain times. Engaging in enjoyable activities can offer a healthy outlet for the energy and the time that might otherwise be spent on pornographic content. Here again, you need to know your triggers. Like, why do you seek sexual content? Is it for sexual gratification, stress relief, or because of boredom? Whatever it is, once you know your trigger, then you need to find healthier alternatives. Let's say stress relief is the trigger, then you try meditation as a healthy alternative. Creative pursuits like painting, writing, or playing music can also serve as therapeutic and fulfilling alternatives. Yoga, with its dual focus on mental tranquility and physical vitality, can also be an excellent practice for reducing stress. For individuals who seek pornography mainly for sexual stimulation, it's important to evaluate their intimate relationships, or maybe absence thereof. Those in relationships might find it helpful to engage in open and honest dialogues with their partners about their sexual and emotional desires. On the other hand, if you're single, then you need to recognize how pornography might be affecting the pursuit of real relationships. Trust me, I get it. Most of the women out there are more focused on being baddies than being high-class women. But still, if you make the right moves, you might just find the right one. Educate yourself. Understanding the brain's ability to change and adapt through processes like synaptic pruning can help you. What is synaptic pruning? Well, it's a natural neurobiological process through which the brain eliminates weaker synaptic connections that are no longer needed. That way, there's room for stronger, more frequently used connections to flourish. This process is essential for the brain to adapt and learn from new experiences. So what does it mean? Well, simply put, it means that when your brain does something, it forms a connection, and the more that it does that thing, the more that connection grows. Now, the reverse is true. So if you stop watching porn, the part of your brain gets weaker and weaker and weaker until it gets eliminated, and that's what we want, that part of your brain shriveled. This is the process through which addictions are broken. But before that happens, you gotta be ready for the withdrawal symptoms. Hence why you need to educate yourself. Now, during the initial weeks after you stop consuming porn, you might experience various withdrawal symptoms. Diminished libido, feelings of isolation, increased anxiety, difficulty concentrating, and overall reduced energy. These symptoms are just the brain's responses to the lack of stimulation that it's become so accustomed to. You gotta remember to shift your focus here. Your brain, your reward pathways, your ability to self-regulate your own dopamine production has been damaged. So when you remove that influence now, in its absence, your brain does not know how to regulate its own dopamine, so you're figuring that out again. It will get to the point where you're okay again, but it just takes dedication. For some, it takes about a month. Others, it takes months, depending on consumption. To be on the safe side, wait at least a month and a half. So that's it, guys. How to fully desexualize your brain. It's time to regain your masculine strength. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. We'd love to help. Also, you can learn more in the next video, so I'll see you there. Okay, goodbye.